here we are. We are standing back in our home on August 9th of last year. Creosote built up in our chimney, even though we have it cleaned twice a year, and it burped onto the roof and our house burned in, and we were declared a total loss by our insurance provider.
There was nothing left other than the foundation and the basement. It was totally gone.
If you have survived a fire, the first people you owe your life to are, of course, our firefighters. Thank you! Dennis Leary Firefighter Foundation and the grace I've had of being associated with them brought me the training to know what I was hearing and seeing when we had our fire. We have so many people to thank for just being alive. But you guys want to start the tour? We're here. We've made it. We've made it this far. Come on. It's really exciting to show this to you. This is all my furniture company and my furniture partners trying to rebuild the furniture that we originally had here that I bought before I even started designing furniture. Every place I design, I do this weird thing where it's already decorated in my head, and I put it in storage until the house is built.
I could take a nap on this one.
And I drew this house so it was see-through through the middle, and we had slabs of stone on both sides, so you could sit and enjoy the fire on either side. And that if I were in the kitchen cooking, which I always am, you can see through the entire house. So that's back. Everything here is exactly the way I drew it on a piece of paper. Steve Coletti, our friend and builder of this house twice, goes out to wherever he has to go and reclaims fallen barns.
I originally built a home in 2009, and after the fire, she said, I put it back to what it was. It is put together from several barns, so we had to source the barns and then kind of put the whole puzzle together to duplicate exactly the way it looked. You're not going off of blueprints or everything, you're going off of memory, and that was quite the challenge.
Remediation teams are all different sorts of specialists, and they come to try and find whatever they can before your life is taken away in trucks. And that funny looking lamp that my mom gave us when we built the house 16 years ago, that survived. And this survived the fire too because it was against the stone. It had to be shaved down a lot. But this is an old farm tool. All of these are stone. All of this is stone to separate wheat. The house fell in, but again, everything they could take from the wreckage, they did, and they did their utmost best to restore it.
I think what was the biggest challenge, and something I've never had to deal with before, is going off of photos and half-burned furniture and being able to recreate them and have them made from scratch.
They made a facsimile of what used to be our coffee table. It needs to be weathered a little bit more. And this door used to be covered with a tapestry that we bought in Venice. We couldn't get to Venice, pandemic and all. So I bought this kooky thing from Spain that I thought just gave texture and fun to the room and looked a little like the sheep. Those sheep aren't big stuffed toys. They're actually benches that they use in Europe to sit by the fire at ski resorts.
What is that? Weird felt thing on our speaker.
Well, it's just a dust cover, honey. These are dust covers, sweetheart.
Well, I think we can get rid of them now.
Another thing that survived is my mom's grandfather clock that she gifted us for our wedding. It did survive, but it doesn't work yet. It needs new insides because of the fire. These are all of the pieces that our furniture company remade for us.
There isn't a corner of this house that is not completely thought about and thought through. She loves natural pine floors, really simple materials, really earthy materials, nothing fancy. There's nothing shiny in Rachel's house. Everything has had a story, it had a past, and she loves to bring it all together. She wants people to come over to her house and feel at home.
Steve built this from wood that was scrap after our house burned. which is pretty cool. And I found this online. This is a vintage barn lamp, and it goes up and down just like it used to. And we're gonna put our first Christmas tree here this year. I'm not gonna do the number of them I used to because they're all gone and the stuff's gone. But this, we're gonna try and do at least this one this year. And we're getting there. Slowly, slowly, in Italian, piano, piano, step by step. The first time I came here when it was all empty, the last time we visited with you guys, it was very hard to even catch my breath because all you saw was what was not here. Now that it's mostly back, it fills me with joy to look around because it's so similar. And these are very inexpensive outdoor lamps that come from the local home store. And Steve built these beautiful benches for the breakfast table. We replaced the big butcher block counter. We replaced the pizza oven. The pizza oven actually fell a week after our house burned down. That was the straw that broke this camel's back. That fell 7 days after the original fire, remember? The last beam of the house cracked it in half like
It's
a
like, well, at
pellet.
least we got the pizza oven.
Boom!
We
No.
don't got the pizza oven.
No, you don't. No, you don't. I had to rebuild this pantry for like the 3rd time in a year.
And these are the spices.
And these are the spices,
This
alphabetical.
is tomato.
Minute.
This is broth. And hot sauce.
Now we gotta take a quick break because I smell stuff. Stuff is happening in the kitchen because we're also making Thanksgiving today. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, guys, so we're back, and this is
Guest bedroom.
the largest of our guest bedrooms, really, right? This is the lucky room because you're closest to the kitchen, so you can steal the late night food. You can get the leftovers the quickest. And this is a little breakfast nook. There's a little book nook.
And it's got a really big shower. Look how big this shower is. And it's got really good acoustics.
Me.
So this survived, thank God. It was on an inside wall, and this is Howard's picture of Isabeau that he did for me for my 50th birthday, and it's back in its place. And this is Casa Isidore, which is the patron saint of bricklayers, and my grandpa was a stonemason, and agriculture, and that's our house in Italy. And our friend David Bowles, who works with us also on the show from Italy, made this out of all pictures, and this is a quilt. This is stitched together on his family's sewing machine that's part of his legacy. He made this for us out of photographs from Italy. So beautiful. That's our house, honey.
It is.
It is. Okay, so up the stairs, I have a little bit of sciatica, so I'm walking a little weird. These are little paintings done by people trying to learn how to paint from Germany. I got these at John Darien. My sister and my mom gave us this altar to kind of bless the house. We had this owl remade by a quilter who's British, and in the clovers are Rachael, John, and Bella. And
Boo
Boo.
and Bella.
All of us were in the clover. And this is our little reading nook where we sit and chillax. This is our bedroom, which is really Bella's room. We're allowed to stay in it too. It looks pretty much the same. We got better drapes. And this little desk, all of this is from our furniture lines. This is on rollers, and you can roll the ottoman up to sit underneath the desk. Tommy DiDario, who's on our show all the time, his aunt painted this for us, and it's us in Tuscany. Us in Tuscany.
Us in
Us in Tuscany. This is us in Tuscany. But look, she put Isabeau underneath the grapevines. Isn't that beautiful? And I'm little Hoot. When I was a little girl, I stayed up all night. So that's why the owls. So there's, I call them bed blankets. This is really just a tablecloth that I keep on my bed. that has owls on it. And that's a Man Ray called Nocturne, the artist Man Ray. That's a vintage piece from the year I was born.
We can just eat dinner right here because it's a tablecloth, so we don't need to ever eat at the table.
So this is what I call the yellow brick road, honey. I got this weird rug at John Darien, this vintage rug, and all these records are Hugo Guinness, and this was made for us, remember, honey?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's from
our
Neil
anniversary.
and Daniel and
We had to reframe it, but it was saved. The envelope was made by our friend Daniel, and this is the song that our friends wrote for us and sang to
Neil
us on our
and-
12th anniversary.
Neil and Sean and Elaine.
My friend Steve, who built this house, built this for John's studio so all the guys could put their boots down and a little place for them to put their keys. My other friend, Al Driver, made this gorgeous bench, and This Must Be the Place is my book and one of my favorite Talking Head songs ever. And it's just about the discussion of what home means. And after your home burns down, you think about that a lot. I think John's favorite thing is that I replaced his sign. So the house burned down. It didn't burn after this point because this is really, really a separate building, and it's got
Yeah, it's the garage.
soundproofing. Right, but it's a separate structure. And John's studio did not burn. The only thing that burned was his sign that said Big Wood Studio, which is what John, of course, calls his studio, Big Wood. There you go.
Here's the studio. My man cave. So this is where I do all my recording. I can really geek out technically. API, 35 channel console, bunch of vintage synthesizers. And then in here is where the musicians play music. A drum kit, a vintage Hammond organ, a vintage Wurlitzer electric piano, a bunch of amps, guitars. I mean, this is obviously my happy place. I love playing music here, and I am thrilled to be back. Okay, that's enough.